Hello, I'm PG Bell, the author of the Train to Impossible Places trilogy, which began with, funnily enough, the Train to Impossible Places, and continued in the second book, The Great Brain Robbery, and in 2021 finally comes to a conclusion with the brand new book, Delivery to the Lost City. Now, if you're not familiar with the books at all, they tell the story of Suzy Smith, who is a physics-loving, geeky and very sensible 11-year-old girl who has her life all figured out until one night she discovers a magical steam train passing through her house. And needless to say, this takes her by surprise, and so do the crew, because she discovers that it's crewed by trolls, and this train is a postal train called the Impossible Postal Express, and it's delivering letters and parcels from one magical world to another and using her house as a shortcut. Now, being the inquisitive girl that she is, Suzy decides to stow away on board, and she soon makes friends with the crew, especially Wilmot, who's the young troll postmaster on board the train, and she finds herself caught up in a high-speed adventure with a cursed delivery, and there are witches and living statues and ghosts and all sorts of magical worlds that she gets to explore. And the story continues in The Great Brain Robbery, where she goes to visit her friends in the capital city of Trollville, which is under threat from a sinister enemy. And in the new book, Delivery to the Lost City, Suzy and Wilmot and the rest of the crew have the most important delivery of their careers. They have to return an overdue library book. Which sounds simple enough, I know, but the book is alive and it's eating information. And soon there's going to be no information left in the Impossible Places at all, unless they can take this book and return it to its proper owner. The trouble is, the library that it belongs to is in a city that has been missing for hundreds of thousands of years, and nobody has the faintest idea where it could be, or if it even exists anymore. So Suzy and her friends have to head out into the unknown and track down this missing city, and hope that there's somebody there who will take this book back from them. And if that wasn't bad enough, Suzy faces an even greater threat, which in this case is her parents, who are along for the adventure this time around, and they've grounded her because they are not happy with these dangerous adventures that she's been sneaking off on without them. And she's got to try and convince her parents to let her continue her job on board the Impossible Postal Express. And I'm going to read you a little bit of the story right now. Going to have to put my glasses on for this one. So I'm going to read you a quick sample of Delivery to the Lost City as the Express visits one of the magical worlds in the Impossible Places. The Express left the tunnel with a whoosh, and daylight flooded into the cab again. Frederick, who had been sitting on the kitchen worktop trying to keep a lid on his impatience, sprang into action and hurried to the front door. To his annoyance, Suzy's parents hurried with him. "Where on earth are we?" asked Suzy's mum as the three of them stepped out onto the Bell's gangway. The Express was racing through an undulating landscape of sand dunes, stained all the colours of the rainbow, as if someone had upended gigantic pots of ink across them. The colours spread out in rings from towering shards of crystal that jutted out of the sand here and there, pointing towards the azure sky. "I think I've heard of this place," said Frederick. "It's the tie-dye desert." Suzy's dad shielded his eyes with his hand and squinted out across the dunes. "Is that because of all the colours?" he said. "Yes," said Frederick. "You see those big crystal things? They absorb the light from the sun and break it into its component colours, which soak into the sand." "It's incredible," said Suzy's mum, who had been steadily regaining her composure since the Express had got underway again. Frederick supposed she felt better now that they were actually doing something about finding Suzy. "But why are we here? I thought we were looking for a lost city." "We're looking for the city of Propellendorf," said Stonker, sticking his head out of the front door. "We're almost there. Now get back inside, all of you, and hold on to something. We've got a tricky manoeuvre ahead of us." "But where is it?" said Suzy's dad. "I can't see anything but sand." "Because you're looking in the wrong place," said Stonker. He jabbed a finger at the sky. A gigantic angular shape had appeared over the horizon and was riding through the air high above the dunes. It was too far away for Frederick to make out any details, but he saw that it was crowned with several tall spires, all topped with whirling rotor blades. "That thing's Propellendorf," said Suzy's mum. "The greatest of the sky cities," said Stonker. "It's only going to cross our path for a moment, so our timing's got to be spot on. Now hurry up and get inside." He ushered them all back into the cab and slammed the door. "Our timing for what?" asked Frederick, as Stonker made a quick assessment of the controls. "Our ascent, of course," said Stonker. "Propellendorf doesn't land to pick people up. We're going to have to catch it as it flies by." "You mean the express can fly too?" said Suzy's dad. Ursel caught Stonker's eye. Stonker chewed his lip. "Not exactly," he said, "but it can be persuaded to fall upwards. Probably." Frederick's mouth dropped open. "Oh no," he said. "No way. Not the negotiable gravity." "It's against regulations to use it like this," said Stonker, "but this is an emergency." "What?" said Suzy's mum. "What's he talking about, Frederick?" "He's going to reverse the effect of gravity on the express," said Frederick, stumbling to the sink and gripping the taps with both hands. "Instead of pulling us down, the gravity's going to pull us up towards Propellendorf." The idea was already making him feel queasy. Suzy's attempt to do something similar, by making the express fall sideways across the gap between Centrepoint Station and the Ivory Tower a couple of years ago, had only just worked, but the results had not been pretty. "Brace yourselves, everyone," said Stonker, taking hold of a large dial. "Ursel, disengage the safety locks." Ursel hammered at a section of the controls with a wrench until a large red light started blinking. "Is this a good idea?" said Suzy's dad. "It sounds dangerous." "Of course it's dangerous," said Frederick. "So hold on." So, there you go. There's just a taste of what's in store in Delivery to the Lost City. And like all of the other Train to Impossible Places books, it's got some absolutely fantastic illustrations by Flavia Sorrentino, who, I believe, is doing a draw-along video for Moon Lane Books as well, so make sure that you check that out. Now, I'm going to leave you with a quick writing exercise, because I've had so much fun writing these Train to Impossible Places adventures and taking Suzy and the crew to some really, really incredible worlds and giving them lots of fun things to do. And I think you might enjoy that as well. So, what I want you to do is imagine you are going to embark on your own adventure to the impossible places. I want you to invent a mode of transport. Now, it could be another train, like the Impossible Postal Express that you see here, or it could be a zeppelin or an aeroplane or some sort of submarine or, I don't know, rocket-powered pogo stick, whatever you like. So come up with some method of magical transport, and then I want you to come up with a world that you can visit. Think of the most incredible place that you would like to see. Would it be some sort of hot lava world covered in volcanoes? It could be a football world covered in football pitches and grandstands. It could be made of chocolate. It could be a disco world, whatever you like. I want you to have some fun coming up with all sorts of weird and wonderful places to visit on your adventure. And when you've come up with them, make sure you let the people at Moon Lane Books know, or get in touch with me through social media or on my website, because I would love to hear what you come up with as well. So I just want to say thank you very much indeed to Moon Lane Books for having me on their video feed. And Delivery to the Lost City is out in January 2021. You can pick it up from your local Moon Lane Books branch or wherever your nearest independent bookshop is. And I hope you enjoy reading it. And thank you very much for watching.